Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Beckett Hockey Review and Analysis. So today we have issue 3 from January of 1991. And look at that cover price, $3.95 Canadian. Oh, those were the days, but then again the money itself wasn't worth as much as it is today, and it was a different currency and everything. But still, $3.95, if only we could get the current Beckett for that price around $5, I'd be happy. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get this started. So on the cover here we have Stevie Yzerman. And there's a picture of his 1990-91 Upper Deck base. And inside we have a beautiful, and I absolutely enjoy, I love this pic right here. This artist drawing. It's Patrick Wall. Just look at the detail. So he's in his classic butterfly pose, where he could just spread out his legs, make the saves. Pretty awesome. Just the detail, Louisville stick, the placement of the puck, and just everything. And his mask. Pretty sweet drawing. There's an ad. And on the inside, we have, there's a wide shot of Rob Blake playing the puck along the boards. And then you'll notice a few players, like there's Dave Taylor. I would assume that's Kelly Rudy over there. Pretty awesome. And then, this is Terry Salchuk right here. So this is just the table of contents. Discusses what is in this issue. And newcomers. So this is just when they were revamping the price guide, discussing what would be in it. I'll just browse through it quickly here so you can pause it, give it a read if you want. Here's another ad. And right here goes into the cover story. Let me get a wide angle shot. There we go. Steve Yzerman. Detroit Steve Yzerman has played third fiddle to Gretzky and Lemieux, but that doesn't prevent him from striving to be the best. And indeed, he did become one of the best players, one of the all-time greats, especially in the mid-90s. 97, 98, when he propelled the Detroit, along with his teammates, of course, to back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. And there's his 1990-91 Bowman. So I'm going to go in on this. There's the article. Just discusses some of Steve Yzerman's play. He even had a discussion with Gordie Howe. That's pretty informative right there. I just love these articles. One of these days when I get time, I will give it a read. And then there's the shot. So it just says he was focused. And so here's more of the article. There we go. Let me get a good. There we go. And as always, I'll just pan across it so you can pause it, read it, give it a read. There's a really nice shot of Yzerman winding up for a slap shot, and I think that was the follow through. There he is, battling Rick McGear. There's a name that I haven't heard in a long time. Won the Selke Trophy. For St. Louis back in 1990. And here we go, the 40 Win Club. So this is discussing the 40 Win Club. Up to this point, Patrick Wall was just establishing himself. Martin Brodeur had just entered onto the scene. He was still in the juniors. Ed Belfour was a rookie. So this is referring to the all-time greats. Jacques Plante, Terry Salchuk. There we go. Let me just go right here. There we go. So Terry Salchuk, Jacques Plante. Really nice photo right there. That's a nice vintage picture of Jacques Plante. Perny Perrant, Ken Dryden. There's a really nice photo of Ken Dryden. Superstar gallery with this facsimile. Look at that old gear. That is pretty amazing. 40 win checklist. Right here. Yeah. So let me just get this for you. There's all the 40, the goalies that up to that point had a 40 win season, which was obviously topped by Martin Brodeur and some other players. But back then, 40 wins was considered a large feat. So we have Salchuk, Jacques Plante, Roger Crozier, Bernie Perron, Ken Dryden, Pete Peters, Pelle Lindbergh, and Grant Fuhr. Pretty cool. So let me continue with this. And I'll just get a shot of the article for you to read. And here we go. Here is a story on Jeremy Roenick. There's a picture of his 1990-91 Pro Set rookie, which up to this point was still valuable, considering there was not much modern stuff on the market. So this discusses when he was on in the spotlight, entering his sophomore season, and he really bursted onto the scene and just brought a lot of attention to the Chicago market, which was who were still in the middle of their funk. And that's a different story for another time. You can YouTube that and look up the history of the Blackhawks, where they went years and years without a Stanley Cup, probably prior to the 50s, before Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane would propel them to multiple championships. Here's the weather report. Eric Lindros, and this was about the time that Eric Lindros was heating up. He was getting a lot of attention. There's his rookie score, which mass-produced, but you can still get it for probably 50 cents, but it's worth like a couple bucks. It's one of the all-time cornerstones of the early 90s hockey cards. So there's just discussing Eric Lindros. Let me get that for you. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So right there it talks about some of the hottest players and everything. And here's the hot list. Let's give this a look. So we have Gretzky, Hall, Yzerman, Bork, Lemieux, Gretzky, Patrick Waugh, I don't know why I said Gretzky twice, Kameny, Sakic, Messier, Pro Set, top 10, wow. Turgeon, Modano, LaFontaine, Owen Nolan, Bobby Hall, Craig Janney, Eric Lindros, Luc Robitaille, Bobby Orr, and the LA Kings, due to Wayne Gretzky. And here's the cold list. Marion Lemieux, Hextall, Fuhr, Curry, Messier. The Toronto Maple Leafs were cold. Chelios, Coffey, Savard, and Gretzky. Those were the players that were perceived as not selling well. But it says right here, reader input determines ranking. So Beckett didn't decide this. The readers did. So right here, we're just going to quickly glance through the price guide. As always, we can, Salchuk's rookie went up in value that time. There's Boom Boom Geoffrion. Maurice Richard's rookie was getting some attention. And there's Gordie Howe. 1,500 still. Wow. So here's some of the prices. Okay, I'll zoom out on this so we can just glance through. I'm not going to show you the pricing of every single thing here. I'll just give you a moment to admire some of the photos. A lot of these were used in previous issues already, so it's probably, if you've seen my previous videos, you've already seen all of this. But as usual, a lot of up arrows, down arrows, some movement. This is still at the beginning when it was fluctuating, and they were still figuring out the market, figuring out their tiers, which players were hot, which weren't. And everything was just pure speculation at this point, except for the really older stuff, which was already established, but even the 80s stuff, some of which was established and some of which wasn't, experienced continuous movement within the hobby. And here's some of the mid-80s. There's a Steve Yzerman. Here's the Mew. Okay. Like the Mew's rookie went down in this one. It went down to $80. That's hard to believe. Well, that's the tops. And it went down in the O-Pee-Chee down to 120. So that's hard to fathom nowadays. Steve Yzerman's rookie. That is his tops. $16 right there, and his O-Pee-Chee issue. If I can find it. Where are you two? There it is. $35. Wow. So I don't want to go too slow on this. Let me just zoom out here. Patrick Waugh's rookie went up to $22. Wow. Waugh's rookie was only $22 back in January of 1991. Unbelievable. That just blows my mind. But you have to realize this was 27 years ago. And yeah. Just imagine what it will be in another 25 years, what some of those older issues will be worth. So here's Pro Set, which they perceive to be hot, but yet down arrows galore. Some up arrows. But some of the prices on this stuff, like, you wouldn't even get today. Like, let's zoom in on a Darren Turcotte rookie, $1. $1. Brett Hall, Ray Bork error, $2.50. That's crazy. Sergei Makarov, Joe Newdyke error, $2.50. Jeremy Roenick rookie, $1.50. Some of the prices were just wow. Like, and there they go. That's the correct picture. So they changed it this month. They figured out, oh well, that other picture that we used previously was the promo, or not published, but look, Wall was only 25 cents, Sakic was 75 cents, Gretzky, $1.25, Lemieux, 60, just tiers were still being figured out. And here's one of the first pricings for Upper Deck. Now this has no up or down arrows strictly because I believe it was a new pricing at this point. So let's just go into this right here quickly. Yeah, there's some of the pricing here. Sergei Makarov, $1.25. Roenick, $2.25. $2 for the Gretzky base. And much like today, this was not the definitive price of those cards, but rather just a general guideline. And Gretzky in that you could get like a couple bucks back in the day, back in the 90s, I would assume. But nowadays, those would go for probably 25, 50 cents at the most. Yes. So, here's the guideline of how the Beckett works. I thought I ordered a 12-slice pizza. Yeah, that's when they used to caption that. Yeah, it's... yeah. So, rating your cards. This is like the condition and all that. This is common knowledge throughout the hobby now, but back then it was still all new. Fun card section. Jason. Oh, I get it. Jason Voorhees. Yeah, that's okay. Terrible. Yeah, so moving on. This is some of the shows that were listed. British Columbia, Minnesota. Not much American content. Into the boards after 27 years of hockey card competition, Topps finds itself in a battle to stay on top. So this is when Upper Deck entered the market and Pro Set, and eventually it led to Topps being forced out of the market. They could not compete with Upper Deck. Yeah, so it's zoom out here. There we go. Sergey. Oh, it's a Paul Ranheim. I don't know why, but anyway. That's a nice. Yeah, Topps was kind of outdated at this point. Everyone was looking for modern, something new, something more edgy. Yeah, it wasn't until years later that people started appreciating vintage stuff more and more, with the exception of the 70s, 60s, and 50s, because they had Gordie Howes, Bobby Orrs, and Bobby Halls, and just all the old players. But, let's just see now. There we go, just a quick read. Yeah, so Beckett placed a lot more thought into their articles. And not necessarily Beckett, but they just had, I don't know if it's me, but it just seemed like I took them more serious with their articles back then as compared to now. Or I just personally just glance through it and see the trends and see if any cards have moved, just to get an idea. Maybe check out some reviews, but you can get all that online. So I think that's why Beckett has lost some of its appeal, personally. Like, people still buy it, but it just doesn't seem to hold the relevance that it once did, due to eBay, YouTube, social media. People just don't seem to appreciate Beckett like they once did. Oh, parole. Former King Randy Holt should have stayed in Los Angeles. Instead, he made a road trip to Philadelphia, where he spent a record 67 minutes in the penalty box. Wow. He had a minor, 3 majors, 2 10-minute misconducts, and 3 game misconducts. How is it possible to get 3 game misconducts? Yeah, so this is the Reader's Right section, which started on the previous one. It would be cool if you showed scenes before and after a game, what it's like on the bench, and how the team works together. I like how they just allowed people to write in and no response. Like, it was very select. And it's weird. See, right here. Yeah, so why is Beckett Hockey Magazine only 6 issues per year? It should be year-round. Collecting hockey cards in a year-round hobby and business, so there should be a price guide for all 12 months. Cheer up, Gary. BHM now is a monthly publication. So yeah, it was turned into a monthly publication starting with this issue. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because before it was every 2 months, and then where the market just increased and the demand for pricing in that, and they switched to monthly. There's a old one right there. There's some of the old addresses for the hockey card companies. O-Pee-Chee, which was a Canadian, ProSet, which was in Texas, Score, which was in Texas as well, Topps was in New York, and Upper Deck in California. That's pretty cool. And then there's the reader's survey. You can fill that out, put your pricing information. And now let's get to the good stuff. Goon to Go Soar. So this talks about Rick Tocchet, gritty player back in the day. Nice photo there on the previous page. And right here it just discusses how he evolved as a player. No, sorry. Let me get this beginning. Sorry about that. Yeah, 84 for reputation. So yeah, as always, I'll just slowly scroll down this, and then you can just read the article if you want at your own leisure, rather than be bored with my voice. Yeah, my voice is boring. I know it is, but yeah. There's a 1991 Upper Deck Rick Tocchet. And so that's the end of that article. And then the Calder Challenge. So this is discussing the 90 rookie class. Yeah. The season of the rookie, Eric Lindros, still is a year away. Yeah, and they had some really talented players. So these were players that were contenders in Beckett's eyes, or this particular gentleman's eyes, for the Calder Trophy. So Rob Blake on Los Angeles, Peter Bondra on Washington. So I'll just allow you to read this quickly. Peter Bondra, right wing for the Capitals. Sergei Fedorov, there's a nice Fedorov picture. And that's his 1991 O-Pee-Chee Red Army insert. There we go. Sergei Fedorov. Troy Gamble on Vancouver. He was considered for Calder. Johan Garpenlov on Detroit, and that article continues up here. Bobby Holik. And the man, the myth, the legend, Jaromir Jagr. So here's some of their key rookies from the 90s, 1990-91 season. Troy Gamble, no cards were released up to this point, but what are they talking about? Rob Blake, Rob Blake had some. Peter Bondra had Pro Set. I don't know what, maybe Pro Set wasn't released in the new one up until late in the season, my best guess, but all of these players had rookies, so yeah. That's Sundin, Mike Ricci, Joseph, Jagr. And here's the continuation. So there's Curtis Joseph. There's a nice shot of Rob Blake. Pretty awesome. Mike Ricci, who went on to play for Colorado. One of my favorite players. Matt Sundin, who was on the Quebec Nordiques at that time. And yeah, pretty cool. History of the Helmet by Jeff Stinson. Ooh, this might be cool. So this is a story about the helmet. Obviously, Jacques Plante was created the first mask when he was injured. He had to get numerous stitches, and then he got a mask, and it was very rudimentary, but still, it did its job. And then the mask just evolved from there. So, let's see if I can get this for you. Here we go. This is quite a lengthy video, but there's just so much to go over. I hope you're all enjoying this. Heck, you can even pause it and come back and watch at a later time if you want. That's fine by me. I apologize for the length, but it's just, I want to give everyone a really good view of the Beckett articles. There's a lot to look over, and it's just really, really informative stuff in my opinion. So it even talks about the post-World War II era tragedy on ice. Talking about Bill Masterton, and that's the trophy that was named in his honor. Yep. And fascinating, some info. Widely known that Craig McTavish was the last NHL player that was allowed to go without a helmet. Guy Lafleur as well. So yeah, these were the players that were helmetless in 1990-91. So we had Randy Carlyle, Guy Lafleur, Rod Langway, Craig McTavish, Brad Marsh, Harold Snepps, and Doug Wilson. So this is some of their 90-91 cards, picturing them without a helmet. Pretty cool. I would have used a better card than that, but it's a photo, so kind of makes up for it. Boston's defense. So this is talking about Boston's legendary defense over the years. Bobby Orr, Ray Bourque. They had Zdeno Chara, and now they have Charlie McAvoy. And I may have skipped a bunch of players in between those years, but Boston was always legendary for their defense. Even Eddie Shore, back in the 1930s, 40s, if I'm not mistaken. So, there we go. An article about their defense. So right here, 1970, talking about Orr's season. He won the Norris Trophy, Art Ross Trophy, Hart Trophy, and the Conn Smythe Trophy. Absolute insanity. There's a nice wide shot of Ray Bourque playing against the Washington Capitals. He led all postseason scoring this year. Moving on, an article about Bobby Clarke from Flin, who played for the Flin Flon Bombers. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. There's a picture of one of his cards. 71-72 OPG. So let's get this article, and I can show you this. Okay, just give it a read. Article about Bobby Clarke. I'll try to get all this, and I'm going to try to wrap this video up because these are getting longer and longer. I don't know why, but maybe they will keep getting longer and longer. Maybe I'll have to do one part or two-parters just to split it up. And there's a nice Bobby Clarke picture. Oh, and we've arrived at the back, so here's the subscription covering hockey and covering the hobby. So there's issue number 1 that we already reviewed. There's the old form. And here's a really nice painting of Gordie Howe. Pretty nice. In his vintage gear. Nice classic pose. Number 9 on the glove. Wow. And on the back, we have another legend. The Golden Jet, Bobby Hall. On Chicago. Pretty cool. Look at that hair. So it screams 60s, 70s. And there's Bobby Hall. Anyway, all, I apologize for the length of the video, but I hope you enjoyed it. That is issue number 3 of Beckett Hockey Monthly. Leave a like and subscribe. Comment below on some of your memories. And stay tuned for more. Bye.